Good evening, sir.
Good
Welcome
evening.
to our session.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Hearty welcome.
Ma'am,
I
good
feel
evening.
very happy. I feel very
Thank you.
happy to greet you as well as to render your lecture for the session.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And he is from our home department, Dr. Rajashekar.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir. So we'll be starting then. Okay. So good evening to one and all. I would like to welcome you to the second day of the English Literacy Workshop. Today's session is on vocabulary and sentence structuring. Our speaker for today is Dr. Rajashekharan, Senior Assistant Professor at the School of Social Sciences and Languages at VIT Chennai. He has served in almost all capacities in academic and administrative cadres, particularly as HOD, BOS member, international journals, editorial board member, PhD examiner, and assistant director. His research acumen can be understood with his impressive track record of an edited book, 32 papers in reputed international journals, including Scopus Indexed. He has participated in 25 international conferences, 8 national conferences, 10 seminars, and 19 workshops. We are very grateful that Sir agreed to be a speaker today. With this introduction, I would like to ask Sir to commence the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Vansika, for the introduction and thanks for the invite. Let me share my screen. Just give me 2 minutes. Just let me check. I guess my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, good evening. This is my pleasure and privilege to be here to share my experience about how to vary sentence structures in English. I assume that you know the basics, so I'll be adding certain value how to make more different variety of sentences. And I'll be talking initially just to the labels of the structure, then how to add variety through different techniques. And all these things you could have known it, but I have put it in a proper order so that you can keep it in your mind. When you write, you'll be able to remember these things. See, before I begin, first you know very well that there are certain basic structures. No, SVO pattern, these things you could have studied in the school days. In linguistically, we call it as syntax. So there is a pattern because if you use your own mother tongue, whatever the language you belong to know, whether Hindi, Tamil, whatever the language, when you write in English, why the students find it difficult in forming sentences? The problem is the way you form syntax in your mother tongue as well as the way you form syntax in English will be quite opposite. There comes a problem. That's why people do not know how to form some effective sentences as like their mother tongue. So for that, you need to know the structure is straight opposite. For instance, you take my mother tongue is Tamil. Whatever we construct in Tamil, in one way, subject verb agreement, that will not be there in English. When we do it something in Tamil, when I write the same way, if I try to translate into English, it will give quite opposite meaning. Whether you speak one sentence in Hindi, then try to translate, it will give you quite, because the syntax is entirely different. So that certain basic syntax structure and how to add variety to those structure, we'll see one by one. So here I have taken one simple sentence. You know very well, commonly you have this subject, verb, and object. The cat sat on the wall. So there are umpteen number of sentences you can write, but how can you add variety in the simple sentences, but look something better? Look at the second thing. The black and white cat sat on the cement wall. So it's a simple sentence, but what I have added certain prepositional phrases to this. The normal cat becomes black and white cat. The wall becomes cement wall. Rest goes the same thing, but it looks a very, very basic, a primary level sentence. But when you look at the second one, it looks somewhat intermediate. The reason is you have added certain new element. You have not done anything. You have not changed the syntax. Syntax means SVO is there, but here you have added some extra information about the adjectives you have added. Cat, you have added black and white, and wall, you have added cement wall. So whenever you write, let us take another example. You listen to this lecture. You can be replaced with the name. Rajshekhar gives lecture. Can you use this technique? Can you add adjective and post your sentences in the chat box? Let me repeat. Like this, the cat sat on the wall can be expanded by it's any adjective, black and white cat, or the pussy cat, or the fierce cat, or the small cat, tiny cat, anything you can replace. Similarly, I have given a sentence to you. Rajshekhar gives lecture on sentence structure. That's it. For this thing, add one adjective for the subject, another adjective for the object also, and try to vary the length of the sentence. Let me check. Very simple. No need of grammar, nothing. Here you have to identify, you have to add Rajshekhar. That is a person, add some adjective. And he gives lecture on sentence structure. Again, add something for the sentence structure. That's it. Okay, already I have got, somebody has written as a ginger cat sat on the white wall. Okay, okay, good. And you try for the given sentence also. Let me see. Very good. Mary Gracia has written, Rajshekhar gave an online lecture on structure of sentence. Very good. Okay. I expect just to try. This is how you need to try. Rajshekhar gave interesting lecture on importance of sentence structure. Rajshekhar gave an impressive lecture on the formation of effective sentences. Okay, good. Keep going. The brave Rajshekhar. Okay. Professor Rajshekhar. Okay. Rajshekhar, who is a teacher, gave lecture on formation of sentences. Rajshekhar gave wonderful lecture on particular structure of sentence. Good, simple. Eminent Professor Rajshekhar gave on enriching lecture on the formation of sentences. Very good. Now you learn the thing. This is how, when you write a sentence, in case you will be employing variety of way you will be writing sentences. Normally, I assume all of you are college and school students, you will be writing an essay. Whether it is a technical paper or a theoretical paper, you need to write an elaborate, maybe expository writing, argumentative writing, or a narrative writing. You have to do that thing. So wherever you are, you need to write in case you have to make more words. For example, I teach even humanities course also. Some of my students know it. I tell them that minimum certain words should be there. And there, how can you expand? You know that the idea is very simple. There may be 5 main points, but you have to write for 500 words. Or 300 words, whatever the word limit the teacher tells you. It's very simple where if you add these kind of adjectives, adjective phrases to your sentences, it becomes so enriching. And it looks actually, even for example, let me take Shalini has written, diligent Professor Rajshekhar gave a very easy and informative online English lecture. Can you believe this is a simple sentence? But actually it's a simple sentence. No complex structure, no compound. Only one idea is clearly given here. The expansion is based on the subject as well as the object. Simply we expanded. Another one way, already they have tried. So I am writing give. Give is the verb. You can add certain adverbs to that particular verb. So adding adjectives, adding adverbs, it makes you will be able to expand your sentence. For look at the another person. Rajshekhar gave a fruitful and worthful lecture. Here again, lecture is we have added so many adjectives to that thing. Now try to give some adverb to the verb gives. how will you add some other adverbs to verb? To qualify, the verb should be become more, you have to see, very simple. Noun is a word which denotes a person, place, and thing. Adjective is a word which qualifies noun. Verb is a word which denotes an action or a state of being. Adverb is a word which qualifies verb. Let me give you an example. And Rajshekhar quickly gave a lecture on structure of sentences. Okay. Rajshekhar gave a worthful lecture here. There is no adverb actually. Rajshekhar gave a worthful lecture. Again, worthful lecture. Lecture is a noun. You are adding adjective to the lecture. Worthful is an adjective here. Again, sentences. You have added slowly. Very good, very good. Rajshekhar gave a worthful lecture on formation of sentences. Slowly, very good. Here, slowly is adverb. Professor Rajshekhar gave a knowledgeable lecture. Knowledgeable lecture, it's only adjective. Brief lecture, again, it's adjective. Rapidly gave away the question papers to the students. Professor rapidly gave away the question papers to the students. Here, rapidly is an adverb. So in general, this is wonderful. Look at the Navina has written, Rajshekhar gave an informative lecture effectively. In general, adverbs ends with ly. In general, maybe certain occasion it may take the another form, but majority time it will go in this way. So now I have given you quick 3 tips from a simple sentence, how to vary your sentence structure using adjective, both sides. Adding adjective to your subject as well as the object, and adding adverb to the verb. So with this thing, you have understood how to take a normal sentence. See, a normal sentence is Rajshekhar gives lecture. 3 sentence, 3 word, you have made it a 10 word or 12 words. So when you write, assume that you are writing an essay in 300 word. When you employ this technique, that will become 1000 word essay. That's the easiest simple tip to improve vary the sentence structure. This is number 1. Look at the, here I have given some example because already you have understood the thing clearly. And so no need, but look at the 3rd example, the cute. Black and white cat was sitting on the gray cement wall next to a gale. So you have already done, but here it's another version simple. Here, what is the thing you have used? Noun phrases. When you say that, brave Rajshekhar. Here, Rajshekhar is a noun. Whatever the word you write along with the Rajshekhar, a noun, that is called noun phrase. And then you have the word, another one, lecture, effective lecture, informative lecture. Again, the lecture alone, it is a noun. When you add informative lecture, effective lecture, or a worst lecture, or a bad lecture, whatever you call it, that is called noun phrases or noun phrases. Noun phrases is nothing but a simple group of words which comes with noun. Majority of the time it will be adjective. If you further elaborate that grammatical term, it is the adjective. When you add adjective to a noun, it becomes a noun phrase. So don't worry about the grammatical label. You leave it. Just to understand the technique, you go ahead. Because nobody is going to ask you whether it is a noun phrase, adverb phrase, or adjective phrase. No need to worry. You have to understand the technique to vary your sentence structure. So first one, simple but effective thing we have given. Let us go to the next one. Yeah. Next comes compound sentence. See, you know very well, there are 3 major types of sentence: simple, compound, complex. So the compound sentence, you know very well, the same 2 simple sentences joined by a conjunction becomes a compound sentence. Or you call it as independent class. The class means the class is a group of words which has a subject, verb and object. It gives you full meaning. Whereas phrase, it has words, but it will not give you the complete meaning. That I'll tell you a little later when I talk about complex structure. Got it now? So now you have taken the compound sentence. Look at the first example. The cat sat on the wall and was stroked by the gale. And you can see whether it is compound, complex, anything. The technique is the same. What I have given you, you can keep expanding it. But one interesting thing here is in those first example, you have not changed, you have not added new idea. The same idea, just only you have added new extra information about the noun. But here you are bringing something new idea. That's why two independent ideas are connected here. The cat sat on the wall. That's one idea. It was stroked by the gale. It's another idea. And look at the second sentence. The cat sat on the wall and was stroked by the gale again, but the cat didn't like it. It is called double compound. Three things combined in one sentence. So whenever you combine, you add what you call conjunction like and but, so whatever you use it, but you are using it in the, what you call, you are trying to add all those ideas in one sentence. Look at the, see the same second sentence. If you write in a simple sentences, look at there, the cat sat on the wall, first idea, remove one. The cat was stroked by the gale, second idea. The cat didn't like it, third idea. When you write the same thing in a sentence, in an essay, the cat sat on the wall, the cat was stroked by the gale, the cat didn't like it. The idea is clear, but only problem is there is no flow to the writing. So the why do we require to add compound and complex sentences and all? Very simple. Sometime, not sometime, most of the time it helps us to flow the idea in efficient way. So when you write with these simple sentences, grammatically it is correct, no wrong in it, but it is considered as you are in a basic level of language and you are with a basic proficiency. For example, when you go for IELTS exam, International English Language Testing Service, that exam, if you want to get a good band, in case you want to apply for the foreign universities, you have to crack the IELTS. They'll expect you minimum 7 and above. Some university exactly ask you 8 and above, 8 or 9. So there is a one rubric or a parameter to test your writing skill is, are you able to use wide range of compound and complex sentences in your writing? Please kindly make a note. Are you able to use wide variety of sentences in English? Wide means compound, complex, everything. So based on, see, in a 300-word essay, they'll check how many complex sentences you have used. If you have used a sufficient number, say, for example, out of 15 to 20 sentences, you have employed around 6 sentences in complex, then fine. Your writing considers it's good. Then based on the grammatical accuracy, wide range of vocabulary usage and the phrasal usage and other thing, then they'll come to the final conclusion. That's why the using variety of sentence structure in competitive exams is very important. It has a, what do you call, a great advantage. And one more thing, because that's the main reason I brought the IELTS, flow of idea. There is a separate point for that. Whether your essay flows properly from beginning to the end, they'll check. Have you used cohesive devices? Whether all these sentences and ideas are connected properly, that also they'll check. So that you have to make sure that you are using that thing. For that reason also, this conjunction and the variety of sentences will help you. And look at the complex sentences. The example what I have given, the cat was sitting on the wall because she was tired. The same thing, look at there, the second sentence. Because she was tired, the cat was sitting on the wall. Let me tell you. The complex sentence will have one dependent class and another independent class. Very simple. Independent class will have independent meaning. Dependent class will depend upon the independent class to give you the full meaning. Very simple. For example, because he was tired. When you read because he was tired, it is incomplete. Why she is tired? The cat was sitting on the wall. She was sitting on the wall because she was tired. So you don't get a sense only, but when you take the independent class, for example, the cat was sitting on the wall, it gives full meaning. You can understand the cat is sitting on the wall. But because she was tired means why? There is a big question mark. Why she is tired? That's what you call dependent class. So very simple. One subordinate class plus one dependent class become complex sentence. That's point number 1, clear. Now, the main difference here, there is no comma in between, but here there is a comma. Why? Whenever you use these prepositional conjunct, phrases, because, as, or, while, anything, in the beginning of the sentence, you have to add comma after that particular independent class. Because he was tired, the cat was sitting on the wall. But here, the same idea, only the variety. See, you can write some sentences using this complex format. Idea is the same, but to vary the length, vary the variety of sentence, one you can use adding because in between, and another sentence you can start from beginning, so you can vary the variety of sentences. Look at the third example. While the cat was sitting on the wall, a gale stroked the cat. The same thing without comma. The gale was stroking the cat because she liked the feel of its fur. So here, very simple. I have given only one tip in the complex sentence, how to use comma to vary the sentence. One way you can write without comma, another way you can write with comma. For that, it is simple. Whenever you use these phrases, because while all these starting prepositions, you have to use comma after that. In case you use in between, if it comes in the beginning, you have to use a comma. If it comes in the middle, you don't require to use comma. That is what these are called subordinating conjunctions, because since, after, although, when, while. So grammatically we label it as subordinating conjunctions. You just because it has a subordinate function. And one more thing. Now let me give you another technique. See, number is wrong actually because I took different idea. So it says 2, but in otherwise it must be 7 or 6. Next thing you can use after simple, compound, complex. Now you can use relative classes. What do you mean by relative classes? Very simple. How you have used the first sentence, the cat, the pussy cat, or the vibrant cat, the black and white cat. The same sentence, if you write within another way, let me give you that example, then you will understand. Here, the cat which was sitting on the wall was being stroked by a gale. But let me write the same sentence. The black and white cat is sitting, let us use even is sitting on the wall. The cat, which is black and white, is sitting on the wall. Here, what is the thing? Idea is the same, but only thing is in the first sentence, straight away you said the black and white cat. Here, you first say the cat, then which is black and white, then again say the same thing, is sitting on the wall. So very simple. Relative classes will normally, in that type of sentences, you will use who, whom, which, that. These words you will be using it to expand the noun. See, here the noun is cat. To expand it, here, look at there. The cat, even if you remove this component, which was sitting on the wall, it will give you the meaning. So in the relative class, whenever you expand certain things with the relative pronoun, we call it as which, whom, what, where, all these things are relative pronoun in this type of sentences. So when you use relative pronoun, even if you remove the relative pronoun used idea, this particular portion between the comma, 2 commas, the sentence will give you the full meaning. Okay, let me just a minute. I would like to. Okay, can you switch on? Okay, I am seeing some. Let me pick somebody. And can you switch on your cam for some time? Just because there is a quick activity. Okay, fine. Let me pick somebody quickly. Then. Okay. Okay, Jenha Iqbal. Please, Vansika Singh, please spotlight her. Spotlight Jenha Iqbal. Let her cam be visible to everybody. Okay, thank you. Now, Jenha Iqbal, can you tell me where are you from? Just tell me few sentences about you. Yeah, please go ahead. Please.
My name is Anha. I'm from Kerala.
Okay. Okay, now she is Jenha. Okay, that's a one sentence. She is Zenha. And please, she sits on the chair that is in the black color. All of you, I think you can see here. Jenka, she sits on the chair that is in the black color. So, in case I want to use the normal sentence, Jenka is sitting on the black chair. Jenha sitting in the chair which is in black color. Jenha is sitting in the chair which is in black color. Here, what I'm trying, I'm expanding the chair which is in the black color. So you can ask me, sir, why don't you say Jenga is sitting on the black chair? You can say absolutely nothing wrong in it. It is the another variety to tell you the sentence. That's it. Now let me use the another one thing. Jenka wears a gray t-shirt. It's okay. Jenka wears a gray t-shirt. So assume that there are two Jenka in this class. But how do I know that? How do I differentiate? Then I'll say the Jenka who is in the gray t-shirt, please answer me. It would happen in the class. I would have so many students. Sometimes same name, two guys will be there. Then I will say that guy who is in the black shirt, red shirt, please get up and can you answer me? In case I don't know the name, then it comes handy to me. Then because you can't say a black t-shirt guy, please get up. It will not be really good. But I say the guy who is in the black shirt, can you get up and answer me? Then it looks fine. So the point is, see, everything is same. You can convey the idea in the same way, but it is the another way of telling the thing. Okay. Now you got to know the thing. Let me, Karthik Raju, please spotlight him. Thank you, Jenga.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, all of you just take Karthik, and I used to one example with Jenha. Similarly, please, all of you check Karthik and please look at the object he has behind him and give a sentence and tell him, similar to Jenha, I have given one way. Please, all of you just, if you're ready, you unmute and tell me, Jenha, how I have used Jenha sentence. Same way you need to use for Karthik Raju.
Yeah,
If you're ready, you can unmute and talk.
So Karthik is wearing a blue shirt, is sitting in front of his laptop, and there's a clock behind him.
Can you repeat the sentence, please?
Yeah, Karthik is sitting in front of a laptop wearing a blue shirt. Yeah, he's sitting in front of the laptop wearing a blue shirt, and there's a clock behind him.
Okay, your sentence is absolutely fine, but can you use relative classes and reframe your sentence? Your sentence is absolutely fine. It's meaningful, but can you try using who, or, which, or, that, something? Can you reframe your sentence?
Karthik is the guy behind whom the clock is.
May I know who has answered first? The previous speaker. Please tell your name.
Zena.
No, before you, there is a male voice. Preetham, very good. Actually, your sentence is absolutely fine. But since I tried to demonstrate the relative classes, I asked the next question. Now, the next person, what's your name, please?
Zena.
Jenha, yeah. See, he has given a proper thing. Come again.
Karthik is the person behind whom the clock is.
Karthik is the person
behind whom the clock is. Or
come again. Certain voice is breaking to me. Yeah, come again.
Karthik is the person behind whom the clock is.
Behind whom the clock is. Complete the sentence.
Behind whom the clock is placed.
Clock is placed or clock is there, something. See, very simple. So just to keep it in our mind, whenever you write a sentence, you expand using who should be used for a person. That should be used for a things. And whom both you can use, and which depends upon the meaning and the idea, you have to change it. But in general, whom, that can be used. So I think you are clear about this idea. Now let me go back to the presentation. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you very much. Now, can someone tell me how many ideas we have got so far? Quickly, Paula, Judith. Yeah, can you tell me how many technique you have learned so far?
We've seen almost 4 techniques, including the 3 types of sentences and using relative clauses.
and phrases and the expansion of the subject as well as object in the simple sentence itself. Thank you. Okay, let me go back to the slide. Then after some time, I'll come back for the activity. Then we'll just, yeah. So this one you have learned it. Now the next technique. Just a minute. Ansika, how to hide this? Okay, I have hide. Then okay. There to be. This is a one type of sentence, but it's a very basic sentence structure type. It's not in a very advanced level. See, look at there. A cat was sitting on the wall can be rewritten. There was a cat sitting on the wall. They are simply adding there. When you are not very particular about certain thing, you can use here and there and it. These are the things you can use to tell about certain thing. But it's a very basic one. And I don't think, how can you use, let me give you one example. See, you are writing an essay about Indian politics. There are numerous problems exist in Indian politics. You can start like this. See, you don't know, when you want to write about something, this there can be used in some way sparsely in one or two places in your essay. Why? Because each and every sentence you should show that certain variety. So here, there plus to be comes as a variety where you can use this type as to show that you know better structures and some other better thing. So you can use this type thing. And this is one more thing. And quickly, what are the other occasions you in general, where we will be using this there plus construction? Quickly tell me. You can unmute and you can speak. Where have you seen this usage?
4 locations to describe a location.
Come on.
So to pinpoint any location.
To describe a location.
To describe location.
Okay, to pinpoint location. What are the other occasions you have seen this there in the usage?
To describe a situation.
When we use sentences like there used to be a story behind that.
Okay, there is a story behind this. Okay, in the academic context, where will you use this thing? In academic, in our college or a school, where you have seen this there frequently in the academic discussion or academic interaction.
How to tell a fact.
Okay, how to tell a fact. And is there any other way?
Some happening, sir.
That's a point. How do you know that happening?
In the past. Something happened.
How it will come to you? That happening, how it will come to you? There is a program in your campus. How it will come to you?
Circulars or reports.
Very good. Circulars or reports. See, when you are walking on the corridor, suddenly you say that, yeah, dude, there is a program going on. Shall we go there? That time, that there will be very handy. And whenever they send circulars also, you can find the wide, what do you call, not a big, actually you say that wide usage of this there will be there. So this, you can use it at least in 1 or 2 sentences in a big essay. Next, every time I need to click the arrow button to go to the next slide. Okay. Okay. Second thing, start a sentence with a subordinating conjunction. We have seen this already. So let me skip. These are the other phrases. For example, since, okay. This is a new idea. Prepositional phrases. What do you mean by preposition? See, I have already introduced you the adjective phrase. Prepositional phrase, see, adjective phrase and noun phrase, sorry, not adjective phrase, noun phrase. See, let me tell you quickly. Noun phrase, the words which comes along with noun, certain word, noun phrase. A word comes with adjective, it is adjective phrase. The words which comes, that is nearby that word. The word comes nearby the preposition, it is called prepositional phrase. For a very common understanding, that's why here look at there. Let me go to this example. Since the beginning of the afternoon, the cat had been sitting on the wall. Here, first you need to identify the preposition here. What is the preposition here in the since the beginning of the afternoon?
Since.
One is since. What is the another one? Of. Okay. So here on. Now look at there. The off is not an independent one. Of the afternoon. On the wall. This group, these words form a prepositional phrase. So instead of saying only one on it or one thing, you add one more word. What are the possible things you add? That becomes prepositional phrase. Since the beginning of the afternoon, see, of the afternoon, it's a prepositional phrase. On the wall, it's a prepositional phrase. So instead of normal preposition, you can use a prepositional phrase to expand it. But in general, whenever you write in a normal routine way also, it will be with the prepositional phrase, but you may not know that that is a prepositional phrase. But now you understand that what are the way you can vary it, but in the later, not after this, no, probably I think another 5 to 6 slides later, I'll be showing one example. Next thing, this one I have already talked to you. This is the another one. Quickly. Move this down, okay. Adverb class, noun classes, adjective classes. Can somebody tell me, I have told you the difference between class and phrase. Can you tell me what is that? What is the difference between class and phrase? I told you.
Clause has meaning while phrase doesn't have any meaning.
Okay, good. Phrase will have the meaning, but it will have incomplete meaning. Class will have a complete meaning. Finite meaning will be there in the class, and in the phrase it will be there infinite meaning. It requires. Let me tell you another example. In spite of his poverty, very classic, regular example in the school. In spite of his poverty, he is generous. Here, in spite of his poverty, what is that? Is it a subordinate class or a class or a phrase? In spite of his poverty, comma, he is generous. Define me, what is this in spite of his poverty?
Or a phrase because it has.
It is a phrase because it doesn't contain any finite verb.
Very good, very good. That's very simple. Because a lot of people, they confuse this phrase as a subordinate class. A lot of people, they confuse this. This is a simple sentence actually. In spite of his poverty, he is generous is a simple sentence. But many of the students, they think that it is a complex sentence because they don't know the finite difference between the class and the phrase because both has a two structure here. Normal simple sentence, that's what cat sits on the wall. That's a normal simple. But this phrased simple sentences, many people may not know. No means they'll get a confusion, that's it. So you know the difference between phrase. So we have seen prepositional phrases, adverb phrases, other phrases means it may not give you the independent meaning, but it will be the part of the sentence. Now it comes classes, adverb classes, noun classes, adjective classes. Here, instead of a phrase, that particular adverb or a noun and adjective will be the classes. It will add the meaning to that thing. And we'll see. I'll show you the example when I show you that example one sentence. Just a minute. It's not moving if I press the next button. Just I need to find the. Sorry. Okay, look at that. This is what I want to do. See, in the adverb class example, doctors save lives while the sports people only entertain. Doctors save lives while the sports people only entertain. Let me repeat. Doctors save lives while the sports people only entertain. Here, the adverb class is while the sports people only entertain. Then can anybody decode why it is adverb class? Any idea randomly, just tell me.
So it is describing the verb entertain.
It is describing what?
The verb entertain.
Entertain. No, it's not correct. But I appreciate your attempt. It doesn't qualify entertain.
So
Somebody
because
else?
this
It's
adverb
comparing,
is
sir.
showing two
So this
different
comparing.
verbs.
Okay, somebody saying that comparing. What it is comparing?
It's just like comparing, like this doctor saved life.
Okay, comparing. But when you compare, why do you need to use this adverb class? Straight away you can compare. Doctors are better than the sports people. In that way they can write. Why do they require this thing? Okay, someone else tried something. Please come again. Somebody else, I think, in between we stopped.
I told sir here two different actions are connected by this clause, by this adverb clause. While
Okay, let me tell you in a very simple way. See here, the main thing we are talking about the saving the lives. Save lives. Doctors save lives where sports people only entertain. So here the verb is save, but here the verb is entertain. But here you are using the contradictory element to highlight the doctor's work. And if you put it in a very plain way, you consider this as a normal sentence structure. Whenever you want to highlight somebody, you compare with the other person, other opposite element, to highlight this the first one. See, through this comparison, you should not insult them. Only you should improve this particular. You should. Here the point is, even though sports people may do a great thing, they may bring Olympic medal and everything, but actually this sentence appreciates only doctor. Do you understand? Similar thing if you want to use. Let us try. You need to students studies well. You add while and tell me something else contradictory. Just add certain things to the sentence. Students study well. You need to add while and you have to contradict with something else and you have to highlight the student. Try.
Students study well while keeping the sports aside.
Come again. Your voice was feeble. Darshini, yes.
So can I try?
Yes, please, come on.
Some students study well while others only play.
Some students study well while others only play. Very good. Kaushik Bala, yes.
Some students study well while teachers teach well.
Students study well while teacher teach well. But here the idea is correct, but it's not. Both are in the similar thing. I asked you to highlight only the student, not the teacher. The first 2 points should be the better than the second one. But the sentence is correct. One in the idea wise, you can write different thing. Okay. Another 2 people raised the hand. Let me check who is that. Chatterjee. Yes. Samito Chatterjee. If I pronounce your name.
So my sentence would be that some people abide by the laws while some break the laws.
Wonderful. That's perfect. Some people abide by the laws, whereas somebody break the law. Good. So now you understood. So what you need, see, please do not worry about the grammatical label. Adverbial class, noun phrase, adjective phrase, all these things. No, don't worry. Only be cautious about the type of the sentence structure. You can imitate, you can emulate the same thing in your regular writing. Even though you forget about the rules, no problem. But assume, you think that what are the way you can expand your idea in a different format. That's it. Okay, Riddhi, yes, come on.
Sir, I had a question that in adverb clauses, is only contradiction used or other types of sentence also?
Anything you can be used. No, not necessarily a contradiction. Anything can be used. Here it's one example, that's it. So you should remember yourself, that's why I used that contradictory. You can use the same similar things also. Doctors saves lives. That time you cannot use while. Doctors save lives where the sports people entertain, then you should remove only also. Doctors save lives where the sports people entertain. In that way, you have to, both similar structure you can go at.
Okay.
Good. Okay, next look at the noun classes. I'm not sure how university education will change in the future. Here, you don't worry about the noun classes. Just think, I'm not sure how university education will change in the future. You could have seen this sentence type quite often from your father telling to you. Just come again with the example. Your father could have uttered using this structure definitely. You could have listened to him. Tell me, some of you can tell me the example.
Sir.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you're going to do in your life.
I'm not sure what you're going to do in your life. I'm not sure how are you going to make your life. All these things will come because this is a very quiet, normal thing. So it's easy. Why I have used the father example? So that you would not forget. That's the reason. And you can use this, for example, let me come back to that essay, Indian politics. I'm not sure how India is going to become a developed country. That's very simple. In that way, you can go ahead. And okay. And one more. Samito, somebody else raised here. Please come on.
So I would have said, I'm not sure how you're going to pass in the examination.
Yes, correct. Perfect. I'm not sure. How are you going to pass this exam? I'm not sure how are you going to digest this food. I'm not sure how are you going to like this movie. Humpty number of things, very regular, normal usage, you can do this thing. Okay. Third one, adjective class. I would study medicine and then become a doctor to help children around the world. Here, the simple thing, you are using relative class to expand the noun. That's a noun. That's a doctor who helps around the world. So here you can use anything. So I would study medicine. These are bit, what you call, you have added two ideas here, but it is not necessary. It can be anything with the relative, you use it and to expand it, it becomes adjective class. Okay. Next one. The certain things, let me quickly, pause this. Another one you can use us plus us in the usage. And as long as you are with me in this lecture, you can learn new things. As long as you are with me in this lecture, you can learn new things. This us plus us, you can use it regularly in different contexts. Here I have given my sister is as tall as me. Normally it comes in the degrees of comparison. Whenever you compare somebody, you want to say that they are on par with the same you, then you can use my friend is as good as me. And you can say that my father is as generous, or I am as generous as my father. In that way, you can keep doing the thing. And in the comparative adjectives, that's another one. You can use comparative structure in a sentence. You can compare in generally. Yeah, I think being doctor is a better job for me than teaching. And I think listening to grammar is not so good as listening to listening to ethics, something. You feel that this is not good, then you can use, instead of us, good as, you can use that listening to English grammar is not so good as listening to music. So us plus us is the positive, not plus us is the negative. Yes, Aniket. Yes, come on.
Doing this seminar in online mode is not as good as doing it in offline mode.
Wonderful. Perfect. Yeah. Doing this seminar is not so good as us doing in the offline seminar. Wonderful. Good. Excellent. Yeah. Next list, the last one is the superlative adjective where you will use the best. Then. I think that being doctor is the best job for me. I think learning grammar is the worst experience to me. You can say the best or the worst. That's a superlative. You can use these things. And you can say that the corruption is the worst problem in India. And democracy is the best practices being followed in India. That both way, positive and negative, you can use this, what you call comparison. Another one is passive construction. Instead of normal active voice, You can change the voice and you can use it in the passive construction. It's a very basic thing. Sports equipment shouldn't be paid for by the government. And these are some examples. Rarely I've given. Just you can try anything. Look at the second one. More online content will be integrated into the courses by university. What will be the active form of the same sentence? More online content will be integrated into the courses by universities. What will be the?
The university will integrate more online contents.
University will integrate
more online contents.
More online content.
Wonderful. That's it. So sometime actually, but in the academic writing, you are advised, especially if you take research paper writing and all, passive construction is not advised to use it. But in the normal narrative structures, when you write about an essay and other thing, you can use somewhere you can use the passive construction to add variety into the sentence. Then modal verbs, we have seen already now how you are going to be good on all these things, you can use it. I don't think that they should pay for this. Because of this, they can't keep up with the assignments. Like this, you can create any number of sentences. It's a very basic one. Okay, this is the thing. My advice would be like this. In case you want to project your language is good, have only 2 to 3 complex structures in the essay. You can vary those structures. You can use partially in the entire essay. But don't try to write the entire essay only in the complex structure. Then nobody will understand. See, because flow, already I was telling about the flow. The flow of thought would not come when you use super duper complex sentences. Wherever it is required, you can use, and somewhere you have to use simple sentences. So the judicious mixture of simple, compound, complex should be there in the essay so that you will be able to follow the proper flow. Okay, another thing, look at that, the varying the sentence style that we have seen already using prepositional phrase, noun phrase, adjective class, adverb class and everything. So that this point, let me skip. And here there are simple things where one sentence can be started from the first to the last. That's what we see. We have seen in the complex, when you add the because in the between and the middle. So in the beginning as well as in the middle, and what way you will be changing it. The same example is here. Because counseling can be emotionally draining, counselors must ensure that they take care of themselves before they'll be able to take care of their patients. And there is one more interesting thing in this sentence. Look at there. Because counseling can be emotionally draining, counselors must ensure they take care of themselves. Another thing they are adding, it is double complex before they'll be able to take care of their patients. You could have seen because counseling can be emotionally draining, counselor must ensure they take care of themselves. With that, it will be over. Normal sense, complex sentence. But look at here, they have added one more idea also here. It is called double complex sentence. Before, how do you normally form double complex sentence? How you are using this prepositional phrases, same way. This subordinating conjunction, whatever you call it, you don't worry about the grammatical label, just know only the word. Here, before, because, before, since, and something else, you used it here. And you expanded a sentence with another new idea. That's what it is here. Look at there. Because counseling can be emotionally draining, counselor must ensure that they take care of themselves before they'll be able to take care of their patients. Okay, can you try something? And you take the same model and try to give some other new sentence. About you take COVID as the situation and try to form some sentences based on this. COVID related sentence. Yes, Samito Chatterjee. Yes, come on.
COVID, which has put us back in our homes for such a long time, is a very depressing period for us because we cannot go out in the open and talk with each other. However, it has helped a lot in recognizing what our talents are during the period of lockdown.
It is super duper complex. Wonderful. It's a very lengthy, but he fused his idea properly and everything can be understood. But these kind of lengthy, complex sentences should not be written throughout the essay. Then and there, probably sparsely you have to use. But if you use such a very long sentence, normal average readers would not be able to understand this. But this is awesome. You can use one or two such kind of variety in your essay. Got it? Good, Samito. Fine. Okay, let us move to the next one. How using the punctuation mark you can vary the sentence. Very interesting thing. Look at the first sentence. Managers are responsible for accurate and effective communication. This includes telling employees about organizational changes. Sorry, here this open quotation is wrong. I should have removed. I forgot that actually. So remove the open quote. And managers are responsible for accurate and effective communication. This includes telling employees about organizational changes. Look at the second sentence. Same thing, only the thing is instead of colon is removed, comma is added and one more conjunction added and. Rest of the thing is the same. Look at the third one. Same thing, comma. Instead of this includes, so a slight change actually. The way of telling the things is must tell employees about organizational changes. Here, certain words are dropped, new words are added, a new variety has been brought. And look at the last one. Communication from managers about organizational changes need to have two characteristics, semicolon, accuracy and effectiveness. So again, this actually, it should not be like this actually. I should have removed both this open quote as well as close quote. This is how you can, employ punctuation marks to vary the sentence. And one more punctuation mark is called parenthetical commas. Parenthetical comma are opposite. We'll be using in opposite class, and I'll be talking about it a bit later. Look at there. This is already we have seen, but still for our understanding, our normal sentence has expanded using different things. The sentence is the seals performed. Then look at there how we did for that the black cat sit on the wall the same way. The black seals performed, the black seals leaped, the black seals leaped, slid, and balked. Okay, now I am introducing, instead of one verb, you can add 2, 3, 4 multiple verbs. That is the another type of writing. So here, the subject is the same, the black seals. Instead of only performed, here you added leaped, slid, and balked. So the performance includes many. So you have brought all those performances with a separate word. This is one way. Look at the next example. The same sentence expanded to all the most possible way. Look at there. The sleek black seals in the pool leaped eagerly out of the simmering water, slid quickly upon the wooden deck around the pool, and barked nicely at the stunned spectators in the half-empty bleachers. The original sentence began with the seals performed. But the same sentence has been extended to this much level, adding new idea. Look at there here, this normal, black seal, it becomes the sleek black. Then you have added the prepositional phrase in the pool. You added one more verb, leaped. Again, you added adverb, eagerly, out. Again, you added prepositional phrase, out the simmering water. One more verb, slid. Another adverb for this, quickly. Then prepositional phrase, upon the wooden deck around the pool. Then another conjunction and a new verb, barked. The adverb for this, barked nicely. Another prepositional phrase, at the stunned spectators. Another prepositional phrase, in the half-empty bleachers. So if you try this thing, you can take any simple sentence. You try all your possible way to expand the sentences in different permutation and combination. And you know the different ways to add variety to the sentence. It's already we have seen, but this is for your example. The same thing what I was talking about different subject. Look at there, one subject, one verb, two subject, two, one verb, one subject, two verb, two subject, two verb. Children play, basketballs and volleyballs bounce, socks swim and hunt, Joanne and Alex talk and laugh. This you can, but in the normal thing, you have to be really careful. When you fuse two subject and two verbs, you have to be a bit careful. Otherwise, the sentence will become meaningless. Otherwise, it will become ambiguous. Very importantly, you cannot write ambiguous sentence. These things will come by practice. Just you know this technique. Leisurely, you can try these techniques whenever you are free to writing in a different way. And another is gerund form of writing. Gerund means it's a present participle. Starting the sentence with verb plus ing. Driving is my passion. Swimming is the best thing I can do very well. Something you start with verb plus ing, that becomes what you call participle, or you call it as gerund. That is actually here, swimming is my passion. Here, swimming is not a verb. I swim efficiently. Here, swim is the verb. But when you write swimming is my passion, here swimming is not a verb. It is a gerund. It is a participle. The function here is a noun. Swimming is not a verb. Here it is a noun. You understand this thing. And that's what you'll look at the example 2 thing. Swimming provides cardiovascular exercise. Driving in Los Angeles can be very dangerous. Learning is inspirational. But all these words, please kindly make a note. Let me tell you. If you swim properly, let me repeat, if you swim properly, you can give abundant exercise to your cardiovascular muscles. If you swim properly, it becomes exercise to your cardiovascular problem. Something you can go there. Here, I'm not using swimming. If you swim, in this sentence, swim is a verb, not a noun. Look at the second one. I drove some car you named that I drove Mercedes-Benz last week. I drove Mercedes-Benz last week. I'm driving my Honda City. See here, driving. I am driving Honda City. Here, driving is a verb. But driving Honda City is my passion. Driving Honda City is the best thing I can do. Here, it is not a verb. It's a noun. Very simple. If it comes in the beginning of the sentence with ing, that's a noun. When it comes in the middle with the supporting verb, it becomes gerund, what you call auxiliary. With auxiliary verb, it becomes present continuous word. That's why it is a verb. Or in between, it denotes an action only, then it becomes a verb. Got it? Bit confusing. Very simple. Just to keep only one thing in your memory. These words can have a dual function as a verb as well as a noun. Noun means it will come in the beginning of the sentence without any supporting verb. If it comes in the middle of the sentence with supporting verb, that becomes a verb. Very simple. Correct? Any question on this? Okay, same thing. Instead of swimming, then you use the word to plus verb, that is infinitive. To swim, to drive, to learn, to exercise, to agree. In that way, you can write certain sentences. Look at the example. To swim is always a choice. To drive can be quite nerve-wracking. To learn is a challenge I enjoy. So here, you can write any sentence with to plus verb, then rest you can continue. This is another variety. One is swimming. Verb plus ing is one word. That is one type of variety. Here, to plus verb is the another variety.
I request you all to wait for some time while we clarify the issue. 1 second.
What happened?
Ma'am, sir, I think sir is facing some network issues. We would like to ask everyone to just wait for 5 minutes while we get him back on.
I understood. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, sorry for the network glitch. Suddenly, I got disruption in my network. That's the reason. Let me reshare. Vanshika, allow me to share my screen.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
Sir Dunn, we've made you co-host.
Yes. So this one is indefinite pronoun. When you use these pronouns in your sentences, you can vary. And one thing you should remember, these things only will take singular verb, not a plural verb. But these things will take only plural verb, never singular. Both, few, many, others, and several. These things, based on the sentence structure, it will vary. That you will learn later when you learn about. There is one grammar called subject-verb agreement. Kindly make a note of it. When you understand subject-verb agreement, that's a grammar. One grammar thing you can learn. There are some 20 to 25 rules. When you learn those rules, and you will be able to understand this stuff clearly. This is another one. These verbs, look at there. These things can be used as a linking verbs also. See, I feel good. And it looks interesting. It appears you are nice. See, these are the words. It look like what do you call linking verb as well as action, or both it will function. But these things, look at there, be and become, seem, this will be always only a linking verb, not as a main verb. It seems good and it seems you are not okay. Whenever we see those type of things, and you will be able to understand. And this is another thing to help you. Whenever you use these prepositions, what is the main function of this preposition? Whenever when you want to talk about cause and effect function, use this as, because since concession, you have to use though, although, even though. Though he is a poor, he is a good boy. That's what you are trying to concess it. And condition, if, since, unless, when, whenever. And when you compare, you normally use while as purpose in order that, so that when I talk about the time, before, since, once, after, while, these are the things you can remember. This is a repetition. This one, Yeah, this also placement of punctuation we have already seen. One in the between and the middle. This also we have seen. And here, only one thing you have to, this is the one thing I was talking about, parenthetical comma. Look at here. Here it is only full stop. Please remove this. This is a typo. His car, comma, a rusty 1982 Ford Mustang chugged down the road like on an old mule. Here, why this 2 comma here? The thing is very simple. You remove this, a rusty 1982 Ford Mustang. His car chugged down the road like an old mule. It gives full meaning. So whenever how you used the relative classes to expand the meaning of the noun, similarly you can use this parenthetical element, phrases, what you call it, this comma, you can add extra information about this particular car. A rusty 1982 Ford Mustang. So it is a one way of writing. See, we used that. We are used to normal adjective phrases. Instead of adjective phrases, you can use this appositive phrases also. And look at the another example here. No, I have not given any example here. These are the normal example. Let me give you one more example. The what example we'll take? India, comma, the greatest democracy in the world, comma, I'm closing the comma, is flourishing well. India is flourishing well is the normal sentence. I have added opposite phrase, India, comma, the greatest democracies in the world, or the greatest democracy in the world. I'm adding another comma, is flourishing. So this is how you can add, simply adding a new idea into that thing also you can write. Yes, Vidisha, tell me, any question?
No, sir, I was just saying another sentence like this.
Please, come on.
The English workshop with the English workshop, comma, organized by VIT Litsock Club, comma, is very helpful for writing English.
Very good. Yeah. The English workshop, comma, organized by Litsock VIT Chennai is very useful. Perfect example. Thank you. So this is the another one. Normally to remember a conjunction, coordinating conjunction, you call it as, there is a shortcut to remember this thing as an acronym, fanboys conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And what are the relations? Generally, whenever you say for a reason, you use this for conjunction. See, I am using the PowerPoint for my lecture. In that way, when you will say the reason. And is the addition, nor is another option. All these things you can remember. Just you can keep it in your mind to remember the things clearly when you need to use these kind of things. Yet is used only for contrasting addition. But a lot of people, they use yet for the normal addition also. That's wrong actually. Contrasting, whenever you want to give a contrasting element only, you need to use add yet. For a normal option, use only or, don't use yet. Alright? And yeah, with this, let me wind up because this thing we have talked a lot. And if you have questions, we can maybe open the floor for the questions. Let me answer. And any other input? I think anybody, can you tell me how many things, how many steps, how many tips you have learned to vary your sentences? Just you list out and tell me. Any someone? Yes, somebody. Vidisha. Yes, come on, go ahead.
Yes. First we can add adjectives to nouns and verbs.
Okay.
Next, we could add compound and complex sentences.
Okay.
We can add as and as.
Okay.
Subordinate clauses. Then the other type of clauses as well. Then conjunctions.
Good. Let me quickly tell you. See, very simple, compound, complex, expanding the sentences using the phrases, adjective phrase, adverb phrase, what you call preposition phrase. Then you have adverb class, adjective class, and what you call preposition classes. You can go ahead, you can expand. Then you can use the another one, double compound, double complex, double compound, double complex. Then you have using only punctuation, adding comma in the beginning and in the end, what you call in the middle. Middle complex sentence means whenever you use the, because in the middle you don't use comma, but when you use in the beginning, you'll use the comma. Another thing, opposite phrases where you use two commas to expand, that you have given Litsak example. That's another one. Another thing is you will use 2 plus verb. Another one is verb plus ing gerund. Then use certain words like in order to, as long as. Then you have comparative adjectives, superlative adjectives, and what you call some other normal contradictory what you call adjectives. That's we used this doctor example. And another one is you'll be able to add varieties using replacing the words with the new word, some other additional things. So you can learn all this stuff. Oh, so I have covered it. If I have missed something, somebody else you can add. You can add. Yeah, from Chinmay Chaudhary, she says, can any two-word sentence be a phrase sentence? Since Chinmay, can you be specific about your question? Since 1947, no, I don't understand your question. Please be specific about your question. See, whenever you use since, it becomes what you call subordinate class. You have to give me the full sentence, then only I can explain you, because you have written only since 1947.
That two words, since 1947, can it be a...
voice is very feeble.
So only that two words, since 1947, can it be a phrase?
See, any word can be a phrase. Single word or a group of words can be a phrase. But that can be decided whether it is a right phrase or wrong phrase, only you give the full sentence. It can be. See, phrase is simple. If it will not give you the meaning, then anything can be a phrase. But you know that, we can understand that phrase structure only when you give in a full sentence format. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, then, yes, Samito Chatterjee. Those who do not have questions, please share your feedback. Is it useful to you, or do you want to share something? You can comment about whether the session is good. And especially the guys who are apart from VIT, please tell me your name and probably where are you from, and you can share the comment about the session. Yes, Samito, go ahead.
So my question is, if I form a sentence like the car stopped as it had run out of fuel. So will it be considered as a complex sentence?
Yes. Let me tell you, the car is stopped as it ran out of the fuel. You remove the as, take the two things independently, it gives you full meaning. It's a complex structure. Correct. The only thing is, in this sentence, you don't use comma in between, because you have used us in the between. In case if you bring the us in the beginning, as the car ran out of the fuel, the car is stopped. That time you have to ran out of the fuel, you have to add comma.
Sir, I would to ask, actually not related to English, but many people from other colleges that I know, they use the software called Grammarly. So I feel that, I don't know if it's correct to use or not, because then it gives suggestions and that probably weakens your grammar. So, sir, would you suggest to write long reports, or should we not prefer that, using that?
No, Grammarly, it can be useful for the beginner level people, somebody who do not know completely how to write and all these problems. Those people, it may simply some guidance will be there. But once you become average and above average, you have to rely on the manual checking only. Grammarly will change a lot of meaning, because I have tried, for my students, they have brought after the Grammarly report. I found almost 100+ mistakes after that Grammarly correction. So I don't agree, I don't recommend to use Grammarly for your entire learning. To certain things, it may be useful. But that's why, if your language, you feel that you are very weak, very beginner level, that people, it may help them to a certain extent. But once you are somewhat good, definitely I never advise you to go with that thing, because it cannot give mastery advice and all. I don't, because I have seen in person. That's what one of my scholar, he did a Grammarly check, then he brought me the research paper. After that, I identified almost 79 mistakes. So then I told him, don't even though you go for the Grammarly, you have to do the manual checking also. So this is my own experience. So don't rely 100% on that.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you. What are the other colleges you are attending? At least you can tell me your college or the place. You can tell me the things. At least let me know from what are the colleges you are attending here. I don't know whether guys are here or they left, but it says 155 people are there.
Yes, I guess they are a bit
No
shy.
problem. Okay, no issue. Just go ahead. Okay, that's all. No questions.
Sir, what is the tip you give to improve the vocabulary, sir?
Okay. See, actually, due to the time constraint, I couldn't cover the vocabulary. So I would give you simple 5 tips, very quite comfortable. One thing is, watch native speaker videos, YouTube video. And otherwise, even leave that TED Talks, better thing TED Talks, or follow any one news channel, either BBC or CNN, or any Indian English news channel, which is reasonably good, number 1. Number two, read newspaper or magazine regularly. See, all these things should be at least minimum of 15 minutes. Watching video should be minimum 15 minutes. Reading newspaper or a magazine or a blog article, anything, minimum of 15 minutes. Third thing, when you read and listen or watch anything, these things, kindly make a note of new vocabulary. What are the new words you are listening from them or watching? When you watch TED Talks, you may come across some new words. Kindly make a note of it. It is called vocabulary journaling. Prepare a journal, means a small pocket note, or even you can use your mobile phone, EndNote, any note application. Keep adding the new words whenever you write, whenever you understand every day, you do that thing. See, the IELTS practices, GRE practices, they'll give you a separate word list to memorize all those things. But I would recommend not to memorize as a separate word list. Please try to learn in the context. When you read it in the newspaper, you know the usage of the word in the newspaper, the proper sentences. So better you learn in the context. So that's the third thing. Prepare a newspaper journal. A newspaper or vocabulary journal. Fourth one, use all the learned words in your regular writing and speaking. Let me tell you, all of you will be having roughly 10,000 vocabulary family knowledge you will have. I conducted a recent survey with my first year students in BIT, and I understood that all of them on an average, they have 10,000 word vocabulary family. That means it is roughly around 1 lakh word. Probably, yeah, almost 80,000 words plus something they may have it on the whole when you calculate. But on average, native speaker, the person who has English as his mother tongue will have 20,000 plus words will be there. To my surprise, 5 students in my class, they had 20,000 plus word vocabulary. They are all Indian students. They live in India only. But they have the native speaker like proficiency in their vocabulary. Their vocabulary is 21,498, one person. Another person is 20,783. It is quite surprising. Then I spoke to them, I asked them, then I understood that they are the voracious reader. They read, in a month they read a what you call voluminous book, at least one. They have already almost completed many literary books and other things. So, and their parents are highly educated. Their environment is so intellectual environment. So they discussed many. And so right from the young age, they read so many things. So their vocabulary is exponentially great. Our majority, 70 to 80% student, they have only 10,000 word level. It is a normal average thing. This is how it has to be in India. So what the reason is, because English is not our mother tongue, it's our second language. So you take my entire lecture, and almost I have spoken 1.5 hours. You can comprise within 100 words. I could have spoken only 100 words, but in the repetitive context, that's it. So for a normal day-to-day conversation, you don't require 20,000, 30,000 vocabulary. You require, with a mere 2,000 frequently used words, you'll be able to cover 85% of the normal conversation. Just 85% can be covered within 2,000 words. But once you become master expert, then from 85,000 to the 86,000, you have to learn another 3,000 words. Then another 3,000. In that way, if you become 100%, you have to learn 25,000 word family. Word family means one word. College is a word. What are the words associated with the college? Student, teacher, blackboard, everything. This is called word family. Then you can think about how many words 25,000 word family mean. Then you can think about plus 5, 10 times, 100 times, it will be higher than that. So the point is here. So in general, your vocabulary will be very less. So for that, another practice is when you use this vocabulary journaling, then when you use those words in your writing, the greatest shift that happens, your 10,000 word vocabulary stock will become 15,000. How? Because most of the time our passive vocabulary stock is high. That is, you know more words. That's why when somebody speaks, you can understand. When you watch English movie, you can understand. But rarely use certain words in your writing as well as your speaking, because those words are receptive stock. Receptive stock means it will be used only when you listen and when you read. You will not be able to use it in your productive stock. The reason is because of the very poor exposure of those vocabulary. You have never tried in your normal day-to-day activity. But when you try using those words in your writing as well as speaking, it will automatically it will convert as an active stock of vocabulary. Then 10,000 words you have already mentioned, it will become 15,000. That's what the point is. Try to use all the known words in every context, first of all. Then you learn new words. So this learning new words as well as using the already known words, it's what you call a parallel process. So once you keep on doing these two parallel processes, the already known words you are converting into the permanent vocabulary, the new words you are adding into the new stock, then your vocabulary will greatly improve. So when you read this newspaper reading as well as watching the television or any talk on the YouTube video, because you learn the word in the context. So when you learn in the context, you will never forget it. And again, the forget will happen if you write in your journal, then you don't use it. Let me tell you research, based on the research, if you use a new word minimum 7 times in your regular occurrences, both in speaking and writing, then only you will not forget that word. Otherwise, you will forget the word in due course. So you do this practice, you will improve. And the last one technique is whenever you use, when you write certain, say I have told you certain sentence expansion technique, use synonym, thesaurus. Roget's thesaurus is there. Whenever you try to use the regular word, instead of using the same word, try to cognize something new word, some new peculiar kind of thing. Use thesaurus, you will get all the related word and you can use, but you have to be careful about the meaning. But it is very simple. Whatever you know already, you are adding new words with your already available stock. That's one thing. Another one, whatever the word you know already, try to learn the opposite, antonyms also. This way you can improve your vocabulary stock. Very basic, classic practice is listening and reading. This is the way one can do. You can do that. And the last one is vocabulary cards. If you go to the certain GRE coaching, they'll give you vocabulary cue card. The vocabulary will be there in front. In the back side, the definition and the other synonym usage in the context, everything will be there. In that kind of cards also you can use it. And some other mobile apps are there. You can try those Vocab app. There is an app called Vocab. Just you try in the Play Store. That also will help you to improve vocabulary. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sir. So I guess the questions are over.
Yeah, thank you.
So this brings us to the end of the session. I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Rajashekharan, who gave us this wonderful session. Thank you, sir. It was very informative, and I'm sure each and every one of us found it helpful. I hope all the participants will have a better grip on their grammar skills from now on. Thank you, everyone, for attending the session today.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you.
I appreciate you, the proper, wonderful coordination. You were constantly following me up. And I appreciate Litsak also for this wonderful thing. I was a bit reluctant in the beginning. I thought that only very few would attend. But it's a good number, really. Really, I'm very happy that I have sat, and all the best to the Litsak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Of course, my gratitude to you because you accepted at short notice. So I feel very happy for that. Highly appreciating you. Thank you so much. It is timely help so to say. Thank you, sir. And session was also very good, informative. You taught them actually. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would request that every participant fill the attendance form given the chat. There's a feedback form as well. So we would appreciate if you'd fill the field. Thank you everyone for attending, and have a great day.
Ma'am, here it is disabled.
The form is in the chat. I will send it once again. Is it available to you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If anyone has any other queries, please feel free to ask right now, or you can leave after filling the form.
Actually, in the form, when I have to fill my college name, there are only 5 to 6 options given.
Yeah, I considered it and I've added another field in it. You can type in your college name in that.
Okay, I'll just check it out. Thank you.
No problem. Any other queries?
Excuse me, Mama filled the form using 2 different email IDs, so it has accidentally got. I've filled the form twice.
No worries. You have mentioned your name the same, right?
Yes, I have mentioned my name the same.
No worries. We can sort that out. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
If that is all, we will end the meeting then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Ma'am, one more thing. Where can we get the recording if you want any?
If the recording is available to the participants, we will share it via mail that you have filled the form with. So there's no problem with that. If it is available afterwards.
And about the certificates, you'd be getting it after 6 days. After.
Yeah, after the 6 days. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries.